Listen, anytime, any place, anywhere, I'll fight you in your back garden like a dumb Klitschko.
I want to unify. Is he up for the challenge? Like I said, I declare war. You know, this is not a battle, this is war because I was born in this.
Why am I sitting there like a spare dick that way? While you are sitting in your mum's spare rooms, just tickling your bollocks.
Come and see me, baby. No more hiding, no more ducking, no more dodging, no more excuses. Let's make the fight happen. Let's see who's the best. I know I'm the best. Are you up for the test?
I'm through. They put somebody else up and give me an interview. What are you talking about? You never give me a fair shake. HBO needs to fire you. You don't know shit about boxing. You ain't shit. You're not shit. I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
Negative. I'm good. I beat Polly. I left with his belt and his girl.
Fucking was too fast. But it wasn't so much about it, was just that he was so fucking fast. Fast.
Amazingly fast.
Fucking amazingly fast. I thought Freddie was in there fucking hitting me too. So.
Any of you radio personalities think you want smoke? Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
Yes. What is up, MCR family? Another daily edition of the show live on YouTube, obviously podcast from iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, etc. Obviously podcast, patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio. And also, surprisingly, we're all three together again. Like, what's happening here? I don't know. Like, Fu, are you okay? Like, did you get like fired and we didn't know about it? Like, you were like working like every day, and then we get you back-to-back shows. We are blessed. Hold on, I need like another great soundbite because Fu's here again, guys. Like, come on. Yes, all three together, the three amigos. Even though Rob is a little bit testy in the green room, but
the most unbiased
in the group chat, not on the show though. But digressing, of course, Rob Fu, aka Robbie Hearn, second cousin twice removed, aka Chewbacca over there on the far right side. How you guys doing, Rob?
He's from the far right side.
Well, no, I mean like he's literally on the camera, like he's on the far right side.
Oh, right, okay.
Not politically speaking.
Damn. He's fine with the Saudi fight. Oh, God.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I'm good.
That was perfect.
Yeah.
Just for everyone to know, like we really don't have that many topics. This is basically going to be boxing banter, which is one of our Patreon shows. It's going to be us three bullshitting for an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Have fun. Call in 323-870-4051. Skype Mixed Combat Radio. We obviously have the press conference to talk about, some news, but we're going to kind of get to it eventually. Guys, how you doing?
Yeah, good. Fine.
Awesome.
Doing well here. Just excited to talk about everything that's going on. We've been kind of bantering all day in our group chat. We even had Coach Mitty in there.
He went far too extreme with the banter, though. We're not even going to talk about what he put into the group chat. That was just horrifying.
All semen.
God damn it. But anyways, digress. We have boxing to get to, so let's try to get to the boxing. The press conference was today. Mm-hmm. Andy Ruiz versus Anthony Joshua 2. Obviously, both guys weren't there. We kind of knew that going into it.
Yeah, we knew that. America didn't, but we knew that.
Well, we did. I just think some people weren't paying attention, really. Digressing, though, Rob. It's all testy already on your Twitter beefs already this morning.
It's fine.
The press conference was short. Nothing really too spectacular. I will say, Fu, I'm going to steal a line from you if I can find it really fast because it was a great line. And I'm going to steal it from you because I think you're too scared to actually say it.
He said something about, do you put bull semen in
Nope, that's not what he said.
He did, I'm sure he did. Oh, you mean a different one?
I mean a different one. And when it comes to the topic of the press conference, it was basically to the effect of, I can't find it, but it was Eddie's on stage going, hey guys, like it's no big deal. Everything's fine. Now, here's the guy that handed us blood money. Take over. Tell us why this country is safe and everything. Tell us why we shouldn't be mad about the sports washing. And it was that for about 10, 15 minutes, and that was it. They had a couple of promo packages. It wasn't that much. It was bare bones. Guys, thoughts on the press conference overall? I mean, does it make you more hyped for the fight? Does it quell any concerns you guys have about it being in Saudi Arabia? Rob, I'll go to you first, and then I'll go to Fu. Rob?
I had no real concerns of it being there in the first place. The question mark is, should it be there? But actually, with it being there,
combine that. No, when I say, because I think you probably thought I meant in terms of safety. Like, are people safe traveling there? That's not entirely what I mean. I mean, should it be there as well? Add that to my question.
I don't know. There's plenty of stuff being there that I haven't seen a massive outcry. The fact that it was there, like 50 Cent, Janet Jackson, numerous sporting events. I haven't personally seen this huge outcry of like, what the fuck? But I don't necessarily have those people on my feed, so I'm not going to see that. So to me, other things have gone on over there, big events, and this is just another one they've paid like big money for. So I'm not concerned about that. At the end of the day, it's going to be a boxing ring on my TV screen that I'm going to be watching a fight. So I don't know. I haven't got this huge outrage like everybody else. And it's not because I'm the so-called fanboy of Matchroom or if this was a Frank Warren card, I wouldn't be going, this is ridiculous. Shouldn't be in Saudi Arabia because of this, this, and this. It's just going to be another fight on TV for me to watch. But as far as the actual presser, he gave out some information. Like, what was it? Once you purchase your ticket, you're getting a 30-day visa with your ticket. It'll be like a 9:30 start in the UK for the main event. What else did he say? I can't. It's a purpose-built arena or open air venue with 12,000 seats that they may be looking to make it hold more, possibly. But yeah. Like I say, a bunch of people saying Ruiz and Joshua weren't even there, but it's like, well, we knew that, but I don't know. We've seen a lot of hate for the fight, so thus I think hate for this press conference. Oh, there's a 3-city press tour, one in Saudi, one in New York, and one in London, beginning next month. So
yeah, the first week of September.
But it did feel a bit of like trying to pour cold water on I think the travel fears that seemed to be the main sort of thing that they wanted. They obviously want people to buy tickets and go to the fight. Mm-hmm. So they were trying to say it's safe to travel. Don't there's kind of like no worries in traveling and being there. Yes, women can come. Yes, guys can come. Couples can come. And I don't know about gay couples, but I'm just saying that's maybe not as. That's maybe a little more. No, I'm just saying that.
No, you're probably right. I mean, that wasn't addressed. I mean, you're right.
Yeah, but on the whole, it was just a few details coming out before, like the actual fight meeting up for a press conference. But again, it still may not even happen. But
this definitely had a pre-fight press conference vibe to it.
The presser was on the YouTube feed was like a formal announcement, and it wasn't necessarily, the fight press conference. One of the titles was formal announcement and media something. I don't know, but it wasn't necessarily billed as a press conference as such, as in what we're used to. So I don't know, but I mean, Mark Taffet tweeted earlier a whole details of a Clarissa Shields one coming up in Michigan. I can't remember that, but it gave the date, the venue, everything else. So no one needs to watch that because we know all the details.
Well, those ones have fighters in it, so like presumably you can hear the fighters talk. That's why it would be different than this one.
People saying we didn't learn anything from this press conference. But
it's okay to not learn something from press conferences because most of the time we don't learn stuff from press conferences, right? Right, Rob? Like most press conferences, we know the stuff going into it, right?
Yeah, we just want to see if someone pushes the other one.
Yep, exactly. That's all it is. And that was absent from here because obviously neither fighter was there. So we're not going to see Eddie Hearn push the Saudi representative on the stage. That wasn't going to happen. Fu, you haven't really been on the show yet to really talk about this, or I should say, yesterday's show when you were on it, I don't think we really had a subject to talk about it in this context. But same question to you: did this press conference, also the IFL interview with Eddie Hearn, that we can sort of talk about it as well if you want? We have some quotes from Eddie we can go to as well. But overall, did this press conference sort of quell any of your concerns about it being in Saudi Arabia, the fact that should it be in Saudi Arabia? Your thoughts?
No, I mean it really didn't. I don't think anyone should stage an event in Saudi Arabia. If like Eddie speaks so well about female boxing and empowering women in the sport and all these things, and then to accept a large sum of money to stage an event in a country where women are still kind of second-class citizens is frustrating to me. Now, I don't have any illusion to the effect that like a businessman is going to turn down a bunch of money due to moral obligations. Like, I expected the fight was going to happen in Saudi Arabia. As soon as they said there was a bunch of money like coming from Saudi Arabia, you saw the tone shift. It went from Cardiff is the number one spot for us right now. It doesn't matter what Ruiz thinks to, or we might have Saudi Arabia because of the money. The press conference was weird in the sense that I think all they were trying to do with this press conference is make people feel comfortable with the fights happening in Saudi Arabia. Like, it's, you bring, like, where else would you go? What country where you'd be like, can we get a government official to come on stage and basically assure the people traveling to our country, to your country, that they're going to be okay, right? Like, that to me is immediate red flag. It's like, there's nowhere else you're not gonna come to the U.S. and stage a fight and go, oh, by the way, could we have like a spokesperson for the government come out and let people know that they can travel here? I mean, where does that happen? It's not like it was a welcoming party or something. It's like, hey, it's exactly what I said in our chat. It's like, hey, there's a bunch of $100 million of blood money, basically, because we're this brutal regime that still, beheads people publicly and is bombing Yemen and all these other crazy things. And then you have officials from Matchroom saying, oh, don't be some naive Twitter follower that thinks this is a bad decision. It's like, well, what if you're not naive and you actually do look at the human rights organizations who write about Saudi Arabia and what they're doing in the world, and you know some of what this, royal family is doing, how they sponsor terrorism globally, all of these things. There's not naivety there. It's a matter of, we know these things are happening, and you're choosing
their objective
to not
truth.
Speak about them.
Their objective
right?
truth and fact.
Yeah. And you're choosing not to address them, which is fine. You're doing business with the country. But I think my concern is that, again, media members are not going to address any of this. It's just going to be
and quickly
water under the bridge.
Because I know all these people in the chat. I'm not going to address any one of them by name because they're all saying the same thing. It's the same people in the chat every time we bring up the subject. Oh, what about your country? What about the U.S. that has systemic racism, that has the war in Iraq? You can literally go down the list of atrocities that the U.S. has done. First off, if we're talking about a BDS movement for countries, I am in complete favor of a BDS movement for the U.S. as well as Saudi Arabia. Completely in favor of that, if that's what we're talking about. Now, if we're talking about specifically the sport of boxing and how it connects to these subjects, guys, you must realize here, everyone in the chat that's commenting this, that the Saudi Arabian government, the kingdom itself, is paying these sporting entities to come there, to hold events there, to be a propaganda event for the country. The United States government is not paying Canelo Alvarez to fight. That's not how it works. And in fact, it's kind of the opposite if you're thinking about just the pure taxation system. Like, fighters actually fighting in the US or in the UK have to fight or have to actually pay the government to fight there. Okay? The Saudi Arabian government's paying fighters to fight there solely for sports washing their human rights atrocities within their country, the human rights atrocities outside their country, including the genocide in Yemen. So this is different. Categorically different. But if we want to talk about economic boycotts or sanctions for countries that do awful things, guys, you don't need to keep throwing my own country back at me. Guess what? I'm in favor of it. If the UN wants to start a BDS movement against the United States, guess what? I'm in complete favor of it. You don't need to start that whataboutism. It's not going to work here because that is what it is. These two situations are completely different. Fights in the U.S. and fights in Saudi Arabia are different, structurally speaking. Fu, I know you want to jump in.
All I was going to say is if you're going to say, well, other events happened there and you didn't keep the same level of energy. I'm not a WWE fan. I'm not going to go out on the show and talk against the WWE or David Guetta or whatever the guy's name is, or Janet Jackson. I don't give a shit because like that's not my place. That's for their fans. Like it's a matter of we should be able to set the two things apart. We should be able to say we're still excited about the fight. I'm glad that this is happening. I just don't necessarily like where it's happening. That's it. The fight is fine. I think everyone will be safe. I think that it's just kind of a bullshit way to write it all off as this Vision 2030 for Saudi Arabia and like a rebranding of the country. Like we know what's happening over there. You can look at any objective human rights organization writing about it, the UN, anything else.
For those that want information, want sources, look, I can help you. Like, if you want information, I will gladly send you links. I will gladly send you documents from governments talking about Saudi Arabia, like the UN talking about Saudi Arabia. I will send you enough information if you need it. Okay? That's not InfoWars, Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson, or Sam Harris. So it's easy, guys. Like, the information's out there. Just type in Yemen genocide, for God's sake. Like, that's really all you need to do is type in Yemen genocide. And if you're reading stuff, it's rather simple to see the facts. And Matthew D'Souza asking about the BDS movement. Just search BDS movement. For Gotti, ads, boycotts, divest, sanction. That's what it means. But look it up. Like, actually just look it up. You know, that's what I would add. But digressing, guys. Rob, I know you want to jump in and add that Prospect was in the chat saying that you're cooler than me. Whatever. I'm not offended at it.
When you're that cool, you don't have to bring it up.
You know, I'm not hurt, man. I'm fine. Okay?
I think what we should get to now is, are we excited about the fight? Like, everyone is excited about the rematch, right?
Let's get to, is it going to happen still? Because that is...
It's going to happen still.
I'm so bored of this.
That's just...
sources say bollocks now. I'm getting annoyed with it, even though we're going to talk about sources say that another fight's close to being made or whatever. But I don't know. There's like half backpedaling, then it's backing up the original point and going back. It's mental. It's doing my head in. But it's like, yes, he signed. They have signed, because Eddie Hearn said, despite what's being reported, both sides have signed. So people are like, oh, yeah, see, the fight's going ahead. But we know it was signed because they had the first fight. This is the whole point. That is done. Now it's a case of, right, he's signed. That's how much he's entitled to. But he's not happy with it. So does he show up? Does he say, no, I'm not fighting? Or do they throw a little bit more in the pot for him and just say, all right, whatever? But the point is, it's signed. The fight is like signed. It's just now whether Andy Ruiz is happy to take the fight that he signed for. So
that's
it's just getting old.
Well,
it's all semantics.
Quickly, I do think it's all semantics. Eddie has been playing the semantics game, and I also think it largely doesn't matter. Like, I honestly think part of this is for show at this point. Like, it may not be like a concerted effort, right, between all parties, but like Ruiz knows what he's doing. Like, he's smart. Like, he seems a smart enough guy to know that he's pushing buttons to get people either mad, excited, hype, debating, whatever it is. And he's going to show up at that press conference in, I forget what the first country is.
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, but I don't know if that was the exact order. He just sort of said those countries. I don't know. Is that the exact order?
Okay, I don't know that.
Because that would be weird. Saudi Arabia to New York, then back to London. Like, that would be a weird circle. But, anyways, digressing.
Private jets.
I think he'll be there. It doesn't matter, to be honest. And quickly, just a quick point. Rob, you talked about, like, the past events. A lot of those did receive criticism. Like, the WWE event.
Like I say, I didn't see it because...
I know. That's fine. And, like, for example, I didn't see the Janet Jackson 50 Cent concerts. I didn't know those happened. I don't know what the criticism was. It wasn't on my timeline. But, like, WWE, that was on my timeline. And the entire pro wrestling world was upset. They didn't have any women's matches in the event. Like, that was a big deal. So there have been issues. Obviously, the UFC is going... I believe it's to Abu Dhabi. No, to Abu Dhabi. They went to Abu Dhabi with Khabib, and that's presented some criticism. They went back in the day with Anderson Silva. That had issues as well. And it wasn't to the same degree, and we talked about this, Rob, but Callum Smith, George Groves, it did receive some criticism for going to Saudi Arabia. It just wasn't nearly to the level of this because, let's be honest, media, period, wasn't talking about Callum Smith, George Groves to the degree of Joshua Ruiz. So that's why it's amplified to this degree. But all these events, to my knowledge, have had significant criticism against them for going to Saudi Arabia and to the Middle East.
Yeah, like I say, I'm not like the golf tour went there. I don't know if that received the Formula One motor racing or whatever went there.
The golf tour did. I know the golf tour did.
Yeah, so I don't know, but to me, it's just another fight on the TV.
BK asking, is Katie Taylor on the card? No, I think she's going to be on the November card. Is from what?
Out in November.
I think that's what Eddie said in the IFL interview, right? No, not
IFL.
Yeah.
And if that's, I've seen people saying, "See, because she's not allowed on the December card," and it's like, is it, or do you know that, or is it? Was she already? Because I believe before that, she was going to be on an October card. So, was she going to be on it anyway? I don't know, but people will make their own mind up. It doesn't matter what anyone says.
And again, for those thinking like, oh, Saudi Arabia is allowing people into the country for 30 days. Look at their laws about their citizens, not people that are working there on visas, not people that are there just working and traveling. Like, look at the rules for citizens. It's vastly different. For example, of course, Christians are allowed in the kingdom for work, but you're not allowed to be a citizen of the kingdom and be a Christian. Like, that's just law. And again, somehow people are equating that to the United States government or the UK, which is just weird. Digressing, though, moving on, unless any guys have any other points to bring up about the press conference, maybe anything that Eddie said in the IFL interview, the fact that he did bring up, we didn't really talk about this, but the fact that he said that this is going to change boxing forever, which is just ridiculous to say. I mean, any further points about this?
I mean, I don't know, like you say, maybe that's a bit hyperbolic and, bit OTT, but it's like sort of the first big fight that's been finally landed by one of these, because what did he say? All the promoters have tried to get one of these fights done and they haven't managed it. I've done it. And now it's a get out for another promoter to say, "Oh, Eddie Hearn done it first. Don't come at me." But could it change boxing? I don't know about change, but it just possibly opening up another market that may become a player. But who knows? I don't think it's, like I say, he done the full sales pitch on that point. But it's It's just another market that's potentially open, and in a market that is obviously looking to willing to pay handsomely for it. Although, again, believe it if you want, I'm just saying what he said, but this wasn't the highest offer that was tabled. Apparently, out of the whole,
It wasn't, is what you said?
it wasn't. This wasn't the highest one. And I've seen
Did he say what was?
This is now $50 million. 50 was the offer. Something about Wall Street Journal. I can't remember where I've seen it, but that's because apparently he said he said, I wish it was as high as some of the reported amounts. So that 75 or whatever it was is maybe not true. But I mean, he also said it's not Billy Joe Saunders signing tomorrow. So that was a little tongue in cheek, I think, as he didn't want to, even though Dan Raphael was told everyone. He did kind of get a few people saying, coming up with, but what if it isn't? Who could it be? And stuff like that. So it's been kind of funny on Twitter just seeing. But I think the way he said it was kind of like, yeah, all right, tomorrow we'll see Billy Joe Saunders unveiled.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
We'll see.
Fu, any last points on this topic?
No, I think overall I'm very excited about the fight. It's going to be neat to see if Joshua can recover. I would have rather the fight been in the UK, but mainly just for the fans. To me, I thought they'd push for that. They didn't. And we're here. So it's cool. We're all still going to watch it.
Well, we kind of have to. I mean, we do.
Right.
I mean, if I was just a fan, I might skip this one, I'll be honest. But moving on, I can just catch on IG. But digressing. Sources via Mike Coppinger. A deal is imminent to match Triple G and Sergey Derevyanchenko in a middleweight title bout on DAZN, and contracts are being drafted in order to maintain October 5th date at MSG. Deals need to be closed in coming days. So it seems like all things are a go for Triple G Derevyanchenko. Not really a surprise anyway. Though I will add this sort of spice to this topic. Do we think this fight will appease Triple G with his issues with DAZN? Obviously, from a contractual standpoint, it does. But from a personal standpoint, do you think he's now satisfied with Derevyanchenko when he wanted Canelo and was kind of led to be promised a title shot and thought that would be Canelo in the contract? So does how do you think Triple G is from a personal standpoint with DAZN with Derevyanchenko instead of Canelo? It must be a letdown.
I'd rather fight Derevyanchenko for a title than Canelo, personally. I mean, as far as your chances of winning it.
Yeah, but money.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's Canelo's saying I ain't fighting him, so isn't this the next best thing?
True, no, but again...
And he's got the narrative of...
does Triple G care about that? I don't think Triple G cares that Canelo doesn't want to fight him. I think in Triple G's mind, he was led to believe in the negotiations with the DAZN, I am promised Canelo. And the contract, it just said title fight. And that's how they're getting me with Derevyanchenko. Is now Triple G just happy with this and just now a company man? Or is there now some issues going forward? That's one speculation. Again, just to add some spice to this topic.
We should do a social experiment. Give me all those millions and see if I'm worried about anything. We should do that. Let's try that. Anyone? Super chat. I think it takes 7 figures. I think somebody try it.
One of these days, Rob, you won't get so defensive about the DAZN topic. I can't wait for one of those days.
Wow, I'm just
Foo. Come on, it was a joke. Bands, Rob, relax. Foo.
That's every time.
Yeah, because it's funny every time.
No, I don't think Triple G is excited about not fighting Canelo. I think that's probably largely why he signed over there. Obviously, money, but at the same time, Triple G is kind of one of those guys, right? He wants to set the record straight. He wants to try to beat Canelo. The first fight was a draw, even though I had it for Triple G. But the second fight, I think, clearly went to Canelo. And I think the third fight would be the same. I don't necessarily know that if I were Triple G, I'd be worried about fighting Canelo anytime soon. But he's kind of like a guy who's driven more by his reputation than the money or anything like that, I feel like. So he probably wanted that Canelo fight, and it's probably not going to happen. Especially, it looks like even Canelo might leave Golden Boy or something if they keep pushing for weird stuff for him. So
Did Fu say a boxer isn't driven by money? Did he just say that?
I mean, they're all driven by money, but what drives you more? You know,
More money.
I like that, Rob. That was good.
I don't know that Triple G is driven by more money.
He is. Canelo is more money, guys. Like, Fu, I understand your point, but you're trying to separate like the point of like a fighter wanting more money and then like wanting to like change the reputation. But like that's not needed in this topic because Canelo is more money. Canelo is more money, and if he beats Canelo, it does change Triple G's reputation. Or if he loses a third time, it definitely, I think, maybe even hurts his reputation, changes it as well. But
was the biggest offer on the table, right?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
DAZN was the biggest offer on the table, monetary wise, was the biggest. I remember them saying
for Triple G, yes.
But DAZN have tabled the biggest offer. Mm-hmm. He took the biggest offer.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, but
with
again,
Canelo.
You understand here, right, Rob, that Triple G fighting Derevyanchenko or Steve Rolls is all different paychecks compared to Canelo, right? Like I would presume that Triple G
some kind of guarantee in there,
or there's something, right? Like, and on top of that, just the amount of subscribers you would gain from that fight versus a Derevyanchenko fight, like that would maybe net you some money. Like, there's ways to make more money with a Canelo fight versus a Derevyanchenko fight.
Yeah.
Even though overall, you're right, the DAZN deal was more lucrative than I think who else was offering him stuff. I think Top Rank, and I don't know if PBC offered him a contract officially, but I know Top Rank did. But digressing from that, again, Triple G, Derevyanchenko, we're all picking Triple G, right? Like, this isn't. Do you think?
Yeah. I think he's made for Triple G. He's just going to walk on to something horrible.
Yeah. Hey, I think Derevyanchenko's. I'm not going to say not that talented, but he's just really basic to me. And I think Daniel Jacobs really, to use this word, exposed how sort of basic Derevyanchenko is when he was hyped to be something like really something. Same with what's his name that got locked up for that mafia crime? Remember, was it Curtsy? Remember like the 5'8" middleweight that was just like knocking out fools? Like I bet he would have been found out at some point to be a little bit.
He definitely did.
I mean, yeah, in some way.
Paying the price for being found out right now.
That is true. Next topic, again, call in 323-870-4051. Press 1 to get in the queue. International callers, Skype, Mix Combat Radio. Alexander Usyk, Carlos Takam is back on and taking place October 12th in Chicago. Chicago having a huge Eastern European population there. Not a surprise that they would put Usyk in Chicago. Guys, are we happy this fight's back on? Are we a little bit sad that it's still a little bit far out? Like, October seems like it's a ways away still. You know, and I miss Usyk. I miss him fighting. But guys, what do you think? You guys happy the fight's back on?
Yeah, and I've seen some people happy that it's Chicago. I think there's a decent Ukrainian population in Chicago, or so yeah, it'll soon come around. I know it feels like damn October, but we're fastly approaching the end of October where Campbell beats Lomachenko, things like that. Then we'll fly through September, and next thing you know,
wait, did you say Lomachenko beat Campbell? You didn't say Campbell beat Loma there? Wow, I'm kind of shocked.
I don't know. I'm going to have to rewind it.
I think
Campbell beats Loma.
I think
Campbell
you fucked up there, Rob.
I saw a tweet where you laughed at it, but
yeah, it was
I'm going to bookmark that tweet. When Errol Spence ices Porter and Loma has trouble with Campbell.
Anyways, that tweet you're talking about, I think it was Babs, whoever he is on Twitter, right? One of the boxing Twitter people. He put out, I think, what do you say? I think Loma Campbell is more competitive than Spence Porter, and I just put skulls because I'm dead, because that's how I laughed so hard I died reading that tweet. So yes, but back to Usyk Takam. Fu, I know you are a resident Usyk fanboy as well as me. Rob's, I think, still low key a little bit of a hate on Usyk. Not gonna lie, he
knocked out Bellew. Why would I like him?
He had to give him credit for being talented after beating Bellew, but he still doesn't like him. But Fu, you tend to like Usyk. Are you happy he's fighting again? Are you happy it's Takam? Does this all work for you?
Yeah, I think Takum's a good opponent, right? Originally it was someone was talking Hunter might be a good fight or something for him, right? But
That'd be a rematch.
I think Takum's a really good first fight in the heavyweight division. I don't think he's going to do very well against Usyk. I think Usyk's going to be a pretty dominant force in the heavyweight division, but Chicago seems very cool. I know they have a rather large community there that is that will probably show up in support big time. But yeah, I mean, I'm ready to see Usyk. We haven't seen him since the end of the Bellew fight.
Yep.
Yeah, so
it was 2018 in November 2018, I want to say. It was a date that I will remember forever because it was a day that I was right and Rob wasn't. So
what's that?
The day that Usyk beat Bellew is a day that I'm very happy about because I won and you lost in theory. You know?
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah,
in my mind, that's what it meant.
So you're picking Loma, yeah?
Oh, of course. And speaking of Loma, since we're great transition there, B Mike. Loma Campbell unification fight officially sold out. Now, Rob, is this like a near sellout? I'm confused here.
No, it's an actual full official sellout. So it's sold out. Let me translate that for the American listeners. That means all the tickets have sold. That means the place will be full up. There won't be a spare seat. You won't be able to,
maybe on the secondary market.
You won't be able to walk up and get a ticket. It's sold out. You can't sit anywhere. It's done. Someone will be sat where you're trying to sit. Just in case you didn't know what that was.
So yeah, I'm not shocked at this at all. You get a big name like Loma coming over, and anytime it's same with like Triple G Brooke, right? Like anytime like a big overall name in boxing comes over to the UK for a big fight, you guys get really hyped, which I understand. It's not often like these US names come to the UK. Vice versa, we get a lot of UK names coming to the US, so it's a little bit.
Yeah, but different. You guys don't like boxing as much.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
I mean, it's way more niche than it is here.
Yes, but your fever for like these names to come over is vastly different for us than us, I should say. Yeah. And I'm not shocked that it's a sellout. I'm not shocked that it's going to be a great atmosphere. I'll just be shocked if Campbell wins. Guys, Fu, resident Loma stan, no comment from you?
I mean, Campbell's a gold medalist for the country. Loma is one of the best fighters alive. I figured it would sell out, like UK is super passionate about boxing. So I didn't think it would. Well, I mean, I guess I shouldn't say take as long, but I figured it would sell out really quickly. And I guess it has technically because there's still, 2 months before the fight technically. So, but it's good. I mean, it's going to be a great fight. I love Campbell. So
we know.
I'm a big time Loma stan. So
you are.
Yeah, finish that sentence.
Yeah, I was going to say fan, but then I was like, nah, I'm a stan because I definitely... Definitely a big time. Like watch everything Loma does, all of his training, everything. But I think Rob is right that fight will be more competitive than Spence Porter.
No, it won't be.
I really do.
It won't be.
I think Campbell is underrated, man. Campbell is underrated.
Hey, how are we going to define this? Because I want to do some sort of like friendly wager here. Okay. Because I am like a firm mindset and a firm belief that Sean Porter is going to give Earl Spence a really tough fight, stylistically, and Campbell, I think, does nothing to really offset Lomachenko. Sorry. So how are we going to define this? Like the judges' scorecards? Like, are we going to sort of like the Loma fight is going to have like their 3 judges are going to score closer than the Spence Porter fight? Because I want to do a friendly wager here. Even if it's like, I don't know, I'll figure it out. Maybe like a gift card. something small.
Or just a cash equivalent of that gift card.
I mean, true. I could do that. Yeah. But like the UK conversion rate.
I got a Walmart gift card.
But like $10, like a $10 like wager for me and Fu is like
buy all the ammunition I want.
That's like a 4 or 5 pound wager for you. That's lame. It's not the same.
But It is the same.
It doesn't feel like the same. But digressing.
No, but it is.
Sean Porter is going to give Spence that work,
a
guys.
Walmart gift card for me, is it? We don't have Walmart.
Anyways.
Because we don't need to buy ammunition.
I can buy you like an Apple gift card. You have a Mac.
Ooh,
Yeah.
could get some apples.
Or maybe like a PlayStation gift card for Liam. Ooh.
Why is what Liam gaining from this?
Because he's more important than you. But digressing.
True, he is.
Good point there. You were about to say something stupid. And think he's listening. Moving on. Chavez Jr. I want to fight in September against Angulo. I'll be honest. This fight makes sense. I don't really care to see it, though. But it makes sense. So it's hard for me to hate on this. Though, if it's a main event on DAZN or ESPN Plus, I will definitely hate it. Absolutely.
Whatever leads to the Canelo fight, who cares?
Foo. Any comment?
He's being a keyboard warrior in the chat.
Is that what he's doing right now? Oh, Mitty's in the chat. What up, Mitty?
Yeah, Mitty's in the chat.
Ask him what he's
Mitty
doing.
just rolled into the chat with Forrest Gump. I have no idea what he was talking about.
Midi, you can't buy bullets in Asda. Jesus.
Anyways.
I'm in for whatever bet you guys want to do.
Okay, we're moving. We've moved on from that.
Entirely missed the whole Chavez Jr.
I don't care. Oh, I don't care about Chavez Jr. And
Awesome.
he definitely called out Canelo after his fight.
Awesome. MTK. And by the way, Santiago, if you're listening, there's like 4 different versions of you on the line. Like I see your number 4 times in the queue. I don't know what happened there. Okay.
Maybe it's.
But whichever one is you, press 1.
You're his real friend. Like you know him.
No, but it's the same exact number.
Has he got? Oh, I was gonna say, is it one of different multiple personalities or something?
No, it's the same number, just repeated 4 times. So it's like a glitch. So I can't fix that. So press 1. Anyways, MTK.
His call might be like a Bohemian Rhapsody video. It might be like 4 voices coming in at once. That'd be cool. We could try that.
No, we can't. We're not.
Get Anthony Walker, make the squares, and we could do Bohemian Rhapsody. Get views.
Make the squares. MTK reveals more names for the Golden contract. Rob, do you have the list of names in front of you?
Nope.
Okay. Jazza Dickens. Who else? Ryan Walsh.
Yeah.
Who else? Tyrone McCullough. Tyrone McKenna. Jose Burton. I like Jose Burton. Stephen Ward. There's a bunch of names being attached to this.
Yeah, it's decent. I think it's going to be good. And I think Eddie knows that, and that's why he wants to try and put it on Sky if possible. So I think that'd be a good move from Sky if they did, but who knows? I don't know. The MTK thing is like with if it's on Sky, does that mean DAZN or do ESPN still get it because the
MTK has to deal with ESPN, right? So I would assume it would be an ESPN Plus and then a Sky Sports thing if it would be packaged that way.
Yeah.
Which might make it difficult for Eddie to get the deal. But then again,
UK rights. I don't think it matters to ESPN, right?
Like I said, like this connection between, like, let's say Frank Warren, Bob Arum, ESPN, and BT, I think is far more loose than what maybe we previously thought. Because, like, look at the Blajo Saunders situation. Look at
situation.
Like, there's a lot of situations where you can look and like, it's a weird case there. But digressing from that, Coach Mitty also bring up names we mentioned yesterday: O'Hara Davis, Anthony Yiggett, Mameen. Yes, all those guys. Mameen. Anyways, it's gonna be our last topic. It's not like a real topic. It's something that we discussed in the group chat that I know is gonna be divisive. So therefore, I want to bring it out into the show, guys.
Hater.
I made the point, okay, that PBC is the only, quote, promotional, because they're not really a true promoter, but we're going to throw them in with promoters for this conversation, air quote, promotional entity that has actually been successful this year and is not struggling. The ones we're categorizing in this discussion, obviously, Matchroom, Top Rank, Golden Boy, and Frank Warren with Queensberry Promotions. Now, I know me saying that, I'm going to repeat what I said just because people might misheard it.
You need to define struggling.
Okay, I will.
Financially, competitively, as in their fighters in matchups, or what? What do you mean?
Those two, as well as, let's say, overall main fighters, star fighters losing big fights. Well, that does matter. It does matter. Let's say
as well.
Let's say any sort of, or to that degree, like if your main fighter is having maybe lawsuits against you, maybe not a great year for you, maybe a little bit struggling there. It's defined by a litany of criteria that I think we all kind of know.
Not providing content for both of your networks, that kind of thing as well.
I mean, you can add that in there, sure. You can add that in there, sure, if you want. Because for the same way, not the same exact way, but similar. The discussion of Matchroom having too many of their guys go to different markets and sort of sacrificing actual primetime UK fights, right? Like we talked about this before, like their big UK pay-per-views aren't really there like they were in last year, right? So similar vein, you can absolutely bring that up with PBC, with Showtime and Fox not getting equal treatment. That's a fine criticism. But all those, piled in a big stew, I think it's clear that PBC is the one that is the most successful this year so far. Probably Matchroom right behind them. And then maybe Golden Boy, but those two could be flipped with a very easy argument. And then clearly it would be Frank Warren and Top Rank battling it out for last place with the most struggling promoter this year. Right? That's how I sort of view the range of these promoters and where they place and who's being successful this year, who is struggling. Now, Rob, Fu, whoever wants to jump in here and have this debate with me, feel free. Maybe you want to agree with me, make other points, go for it.
Well, I would say you're potentially right with your list, but I wouldn't say it's been a fantastic year for boxing. So
I would absolutely agree with that. I absolutely agree with that.
So struggling, doing well in a struggling
not market, but
landscape, or whatever the word is.
A changing landscape. Let's say that, because it's a fluid and changing landscape in this sort of transition to the streaming era.
Yeah, I think you obviously brought this terms of the game we're playing, as in big stars losing. There's only one big star in the sport that has lost, so.
No. You can say like Keith Thurman lost.
Canelo, yeah, he's a big star, is he?
He was a PBC star. Like think about like in terms of their TV numbers, he's the guy that did the second best numbers for them.
What, 5 years ago when they did a unification?
3 years ago. Actually, no, 2 years ago, 2017, right? Or 16? Was it 16 to 17?
I mean, it's just from yesterday.
I know, but I'm trying to remember now. But again, like you can make arguments. Like again, I'm not making this out to be like, hey, this is the dogmatic answer. PBC is awesome. Everyone else is struggling. No, there's obviously examples like Coach Mitty bring up a good one. Jamal Charlo having an off year. Jamel Charlo having an off year. Jared Hurd having an off year, right? Like there are examples we can bring up for PBC struggling. Of course, I'm not making it seem like it's a monolith of them being successful, but I think overall, if you look at the landscape, to Rob's first point, look at the money, sort of events that have been huge. PBC has surprisingly been successful in this pay-per-view market.
But isn't that a sign that they haven't got the money to pay these fighters without it? So there's been a...
I don't know if that's necessarily struggling, though.
Kind of financially?
No, because...
They have to make these fights. Having a big stable like this and trying to pit them against each other means they've they've made the public pay for it.
Yeah, but you can make the same case for Matchroom in the UK. That like the big that they cannot afford to put the big names on regular Sky and not make it Sky box office, right? You can make that case. So like I understand that point, but I don't think it's a point of them struggling. I think it's a point about the landscape and the market and like it just being a difficult market, right?
Like DAZN coming and paying big money, and now when Jesse Vargas is making 1.7, things like that.
So. For again, within the parameters of the market, PBC has been successful this year. I didn't want them to be. I was one of the first and one of the loudest to be like, hey, I want all these pay-per-views to bomb, but they've been all successful. Every single one. You look across the board to like Top Rank, they haven't been. Their numbers on ESPN have been down. Pay-per-view bomb with Terrence Crawford and Amir Khan. Sorry, Mitty. It's and then with DAZN, let's say with Golden Boy. Golden Boy has done really good numbers, obviously with Canelo. Canelo had a great fight, unified. However, Ryan Garcia is struggling. Oscar De La Hoya is absent. Their third biggest name and third biggest prospect main evented for the first time. He wasn't there. Their biggest name is currently gearing up for a lawsuit against them. So that drops them down on the list for me. Matchroom, while putting on a litany of events, probably putting on maybe the most events out of everyone this year, and some great cards. The Rungsvia Estrada, Doheny, Rahman, which we've talked about ad nauseum, but should be talked about ad nauseum because it's that good of a card. They're big
Hooker
names.
Ramirez, hooking up with ESPN to make Hooker Ramirez.
Yep. But however, certain names have lost. Joshua, Dylan White having his PD case. Maurice Hooker losing. So that does drop them down in a way. And on top of that, I will say that the issue that they are presented with their two different markets, with the UK and the US market, and having to navigate that, to me, has led to them facing far more issues than, let's say, PBC navigating Showtime and Fox. Even though it's clear it hasn't been equal with Fox and Showtime, it's been clear that Fox has been successful. So the payoff has been, we're going to sacrifice our Showtime content, but we're going to get it back with our Fox content tenfold, maybe, because let's be honest, the viewership on Fox is drastically different than Showtime, just purely due to the subscriber numbers. So with all that in mind, again, I would say PBC is the most successful this year, and everyone else is struggling more. Not that PBC is not struggling in parts, like the junior middleweight division, for example, but it's clear that other parameters, other criteria, money, events being successful, they've had a great half of the year. They had, and that's really hard to push back on.
Well, and I think the major selling point for that is their pay-per-views being successful, because they've obviously reframed what success looks like on a pay-per-view because of however they've negotiated contracts to get more points from the buys or whatever they've done to make 300,000 seem very successful, whereas a million used to be more of a successful pay-per-view, or 700,000. Now we're in a world where 400,000 buys is a great pay-per-view, and it's very different when you look at the landscape of the UK, because you're doing a $20, $25 pay-per-view. I mean, we would sell a lot more pay-per-views if they were $25 as well. It's no disrespect to UK numbers. I know like Dillian White and Joshua sell a ton of pay-per-views. But in the landscape currently, with Matchroom having a lot of their kind of up-and-coming talent and their top guys losing, Golden Boy going through everything they've gone through with two of their biggest money makers, and then
Frank Warren losing two of his biggest guys to Top Rank and ESPN in a way, or at least one of them to ESPN, Top Rank, one of them to Eddie Hearn and Matchroom.
Correct. And I think Top Rank has had the worst year. I think their cards have been total dog shit.
I agree.
Their numbers are terrible. Their pay-per-views have been gigantic flops. I still don't think they do a great job promoting Crawford. Like, they haven't done enough. They put way more of an investment in Fury, way more, for him to fight the level of shit competition he's fighting, and they have backburnered Crawford. And to me, you should put all your money in Terrence Crawford,
or still Loma. At least those guys are fighting top level competition, right? Like, Loma is fighting great competition, I would say, at lightweight so far. Terrence Crawford, while fighting Amir Khan isn't great, like, you put that on a paywall of $75. Of course it wasn't going to be great. That should have been an ESPN main event, and then it would have done great numbers. And then you're just getting your guy a big showcase win over a name that we know, but they don't do that. And I agree. I think the attention to Tyson Fury has been completely misplaced, especially with him fighting Tom Schwartz and Otto Whalen. God, it's been just awful. And again, the TV numbers, their viewerships have been just down across the board drastically from last year. So that is a major concern. They haven't had one card to break over 1 million average viewers on ESPN. That's insane. Well, last year, think about it. Crawford Benavidez did what, 2-point-something million viewers on ESPN? You know, they were having a honestly kind of great year last year. But then again, to Rob's point, last year was a different market, like, and different industry. It just was. Like, it changed overnight with DAZN and ESPN Plus. It 100% did, and everyone's adjusting to it. And some, while sort of clinging to the pay-per-view model, are highly successful still. Some are trying to advance and innovate with DAZN and ESPN Plus, and they're struggling in the innovation. But that's sort of to be expected in a way, because it is new. It's a new paradigm. It's a new model.
Yeah, no, I get you. I don't know that the new model is struggling. I don't know.
I would say it's naturally struggling, but that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, but I think to me, it surprised me what it has done. To me,
what do you mean by that?
Like DAZN, what they've done in what is it? Basically, next month would be a year, right? When Joshua opened it up with Povetkin in September, right? So,
but when you say done, what do you mean? What do you?
Well, just being in the, I don't know, like the biggest upset of the year was on DAZN, and that was like everywhere. Like I think it's on like 13 million views now on the YouTube channel, like, and it was all over the world. And if rumors are correct and reports are correct, they've got like 1.2 million subscribers and all those. I'm surprised at that. I thought it would take longer to get to that kind of stage, and for there to be like cross promotional unifications. And because when it started off, I was maybe trying to do a defensive thing because it was Eddie, maybe a little bit, but it was like Jesse Vargas and Delorme, and it was look, it wasn't like
that was rough.
I mean, I like to watch some boxing, and whether it's the highest level super names, the cream of the fucking sport, or whether it's some guys on the undercard, you know, giving us a good tear up. I kind of like it all. So I'm not like, this is an absolute fucking shit fight. This is a disgrace. This should never have been made. I'm not paying for that. Or it's like, well, I'm like, I've got my Sky subscription. Some of the main cards haven't been fantastic. Like the main events haven't been fantastic, but it's part of my subscription. I'm not calling Sky and say, cancel it for this week. I'm fucking not paying that. I'm going to watch it. Do I maybe not necessarily love it, but it's some boxing on the weekend. I like to watch boxing. So, yeah, you know, it is what it is. But like I said, I think it's not been the greatest year, you know, for the sport in terms of what it was last year. I think that was, I was really excited coming in. Like at the end of 2018, I was like, wow, what's 2019 going to bring? Cannot wait. And to me, I feel like it hasn't quite delivered yet. I know Ruiz has upset Joshua in a big upset, and it's like, wow, you know, I wasn't expecting that. But I think, I don't know, it just seems to be a little bit lower than last year, in my opinion. So,
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, PBC, like you say, the numbers haven't been like, I mean, let's face it, there isn't many American pay-per-views that hit 1 million. So I don't know where, you know, these numbers have got to be somewhere near that for it to be deemed a success. But some of them surprised me. I thought Wilder Fury was going to be better. I know it was like the first time and everything, but I felt it was promoted well. I thought
it was
the whole thing, the press tours, it was a little bit Mayweather McGregor type. I think they tried to copy that in some way, tried to do it Mayweather McGregor style. Well, the whole
to that point about you, like, because I agree. I think the promotion for that was amazing, really. But
what would it have done without that?
But to that point, we see that obviously we have Broner Pacquiao as the last Showtime pay-per-view, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was in January, right?
Yeah.
So the next month, and that did around 400,000. So you hit that ceiling in a sense, right?
Yeah.
And then they go to Fox with Spence Garcia, a fight that is, I would say, demonstrably worse in terms of a matchup compared to Pacquiao Broner, for God's sake, and Wilder Fury. But it was Fox. It was promoted well. You know, the top number is around over 400,000 pay-per-view buys. That's estimated at. And then we see Pacquiao Thurman did near 500,000. So it just seems that Fox move has been like almost like a death note for Showtime in a way, and it seems pretty obvious.
I know. I know it seems like I'm coming at Showtime all the time, but I've genuinely sort of had that concern for Showtime as the months have drawn on. It just seems like what have Showtime really put on this year? One of the worst fights of the year. Wasn't that Robert Easter and Bartholomew or whatever it was?
Oh God! Yeah.
And we've had Javonta against subpar. I know one of them wasn't necessarily his fault; it was his mandatory, wasn't it?
Yep, that was the last one, and also the only one that really did really good numbers.
Yeah, but
really good.
Again, that was a guy that pulled out. Again, not his fault, but I don't know. It's just made me wonder. Like Showtime executives, like, do we really want to invest in boxing? Everything's going over on Fox. What are we getting this budget for? Yes, we want Wilder, but since the DAZN offer, maybe he's demanding more money, so we can't really afford much else. So I don't know whether it's a concern for. I'm sure people in the know are like, everything's going to be fine. We've got this coming up later in the year. We've got that, or we're going to go into 2020, kicking and screaming with these great fights, and it's all going to be fine. Because they had this before. I think Aficionados, Evan said they had a bleak year one year, and everyone was like, "Oh, Showtime look screwed." They're not, and then they came back swinging the next year, and it was they done a really good schedule, and everything was great, but. I don't know. I hear it on the Matchroom side. We've had obviously Belly retire and Brooks coming to the end, obviously, and some of the, I guess, bigger names have either retired or becoming less active and things like that. And the DAZN money is just why are these fighters going to fight here for less when they can go to America and get more? So, but hopefully that's going to change with the new plans they've got in. Hopefully set in place, and they're going to see we're going to see as consumers better fights on a Saturday night on Sky with some of the bigger names. So yeah, it's difficult. Like you say, Top Rank has been the cards have been pretty poor. I wouldn't say Golden Boy have had a fantastic year. Really,
let's be honest. It's Golden Boy, Frank Warren, and Top Rank like battling it out for like who's struggling the most. And Matchroom is doing fine because, let's be honest, the quantity of their stable allows them to float when they're taking losses. Case in point, Fowler losing, AJ losing, White. Like, they're able to keep going with events. They're able to keep going with shows because just they have so many people.
I think Warren in the bracket is difficult because I wouldn't say he's necessarily got like an American side of his. It's very UK centric.
Yeah, but then again, to his UK side, Fury's gone. Even though he may not be officially gone from Frank Warren, he's in the US fighting now officially, non-UK.
Billy Joe
Saunders is officially gone, and he was your second biggest name. And now you have Dubois behind them that you're probably hoping everything on, and Anthony Yard. Oh, Josh Warrington.
Really hang a lot of hopes on Yard and Kovalev.
Josh Warrington from a talent perspective, of course, but he can't hold down a promotional company. No offense to Josh Warrington, but like he's not meant to be that.
Could anyone at 126 pounds?
No. Probably not. You're probably it's hard.
Let's be real.
So yeah, it's interesting, but yeah, I'd say obviously PBC and Matchroom are holding it down at the moment for boxing, kind of.
Yeah.
For what and it's just a shame that those two factions don't like each other, across the board. PBC got I'm not buying the zone, and kind of the other way around. Well, we don't really get PBC or PBC fights necessarily. Like we get I don't know what this UK deal. It seems to have
Fox. It's like the Fox main cards. That's it.
Yeah, we seem to have it's all dried up kind of thing. Unless it's sort of big-ish, we're not getting it. We're not getting regular. I don't know what that deal is with ITV, but
PBC. Hey, if they're smart, they don't try to go to the UK. They have too small of a stable. Like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, without getting the services of some big UK names. Because look, Joyce did, or he got with Al Heyman. Now he's signed with BT and Frank Warren. I don't know what happened there. Chris Eubank Jr. signed with it. When did he last fight against De Gale, right? Yep. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, a while ago. Yep.
So is he going to get a fight? I don't know. Remember all these 168, all the works on PBC. Remember why is he not getting a fight? I don't know. We'll see. Well, maybe that's who Eddie's announcing tomorrow.
To be fair, Rob, I don't think anyone's shouting to see Chris Eubank Jr. again.
Why not?
Okay, Rob. Bant, relax. Let's go to callers. Let's go to callers. Gary in Dallas.
Gary Cinnamon in Dallas.
The early start. I like the early start time. Is this something that we're experimenting with, or is this a one-shot?
We just revolve around Fugati's schedule right now.
Yeah, Fu was free at 1, so
he's some fucking hot.
As Marcus said, I'm a terrorist. I'm terrorizing their schedule today.
Yeah.
He's a rat dad.
All right. No, I like the early start.
All right.
It's better for Rob, right? It's better for Fu.
I don't know if it's better for Rob. I've tried. Hey, I'll be honest. I've tried starting at 1 p.m. start time, and Rob pushes back on it.
Rob, isn't it like 11? What time is it where you are right now?
It is 10, now 11? 10:15 in the evening, Gary.
How's the weather?
And you like the later start? All right.
Yeah, because I've got daddy duties. I get home at like 6:30 at night in the evening. I got to have dinner with my kid, little things to do, and then
Quickly, shout out to Jordan Baker, the super chat saying Matchroom isn't holding nothing down. Ruiz was a cherry pick by Joshua and Hearn. It turned into a big fight because the paperweight champ finally fought someone that wasn't old or soft.
He looks so.
Damn, that's
dang, Jordan Baker coming in hot.
And to be honest, Jordan, when you're saying that he finally fought someone that isn't soft, but we're talking about Andy Ruiz, he's still soft in a way, physically speaking. But back to you, Gary.
He's got a hell of a belly muscle.
I wanted to impress you, Rob. It was 103 degrees here in Dallas yesterday, or roughly 40 degrees where you are.
Oh,
is that right?
Yeah. That would be the end of me.
Quick maths.
That'd be about right.
Yeah, I would cry off work for that. I'm not working in 40 degrees. Fuck that shit.
I wouldn't work in 40 degrees either, but if it was 40 degrees Fahrenheit, I don't leave the house unless it's at least 60 Fahrenheit. I don't know what that would be. 20 degrees? I don't know.
I don't know.
Quick maths.
I don't even know what the equation is. I just convert it on Google.
Yeah.
Damn, Mitty taught me when we were in Cali together, but I forgot it already.
Yeah, about boxing, Gary. What do you want to talk about?
Boxing.
Yeah.
Boring.
Yeah. The Ruiz fight.
Yes. Did you watch the press conference?
I did not watch the press conference. I didn't know the press conference.
Boo.
You don't need to. It's good. It's fine.
Okay.
Trust me.
Fu, just out of curiosity, would you bring your wife and kids to Saudi Arabia to watch that fight?
No.
You're saying if money was no factor, like if it was
absolutely not.
Would you go? And,
if you were allowed to hold her hand still.
What was that?
I said, is he allowed to hold her hand as well?
Like my point is, why would you want or expect other people to do that?
I don't.
If you wouldn't do it yourself,
Did I
Okay,
say
you
I
seemed
do?
Like it was fine that it seemed like you were fine with them putting the fight in Saudi Arabia.
Gary.
Absolutely not.
Gary, I don't know if you heard anything that Fu said, because Fu went on like a 15-minute rant. Honestly, it was just a quiet rant, but he went on a rant about how like this was
I
a dumb
was
move.
on a call.
Oh, yeah, you missed it.
Oh, you were late.
No,
you were
Gary-
late, Gary.
Yeah, I was.
And my specific thing, Gary, is that I don't think that you can ask a company to be morally responsible because they only care about profit.
Companies will never be morally responsible.
So I'm not saying that I'm happy the fight's there, but I'm not also going. Well, I guess I am going to go at Eddie Hearn about it because I have already. But at the same time, like, you can't expect, if there's a bunch of money there, for Hearn to turn it down.
The
I wouldn't take my wife there.
The only way, honestly, to expect Eddie Hearn to have changed his mind on this is when we first heard the news, Rob, that it would be in Saudi Arabia, for the amount of outrage that we see now to start then. If that had happened, then maybe, because obviously public outcry does change how corporations maneuver. Like, that does happen. Maybe not outright boycott, but just a very extreme public outcry of, hey, we don't like this move. Maybe would have changed it, but it's too late at this point.
Okay. I wanted. That wasn't the purpose of my call. I was just confused on what Fugatti's comment. That really wasn't the purpose of my call.
That's fine.
I still don't understand what the problem with Tijuana was. AJ said he'd go to Tijuana.
Oh my God.
Andy Ruiz
AJ was
can't.
lying.
Oh,
He ain't about that life. He ain't about that work. Come on.
Let me go.
Okay, so it's a neutral site. Andy Ruiz is from America, from the United States.
No.
Stop saying he's the first Mexican heavyweight champion of the world, then.
What was that?
Stop saying he is the first heavyweight champion of the world.
From Mexico.
It was Anthony Joshua's. Yeah, okay. It was Anthony Joshua's preference. He said he would do it. Okay, fine. It was since it was his words, not mine. We'll go to Tijuana.
I don't think it was his preference. He said he would do it. It wasn't his preference.
Okay. Well, fine. Then good enough. We'll go there. He's down. I'm down. Let's go to Tijuana.
It's a level 2 risk.
Yeah, it's a level 2 security risk.
So's the UK and France.
Also, America right now.
Which they all should be, and they should all be boycotted.
First fight on the moon. Make it happen, Eddie.
Matt, how far away? I've been to Tijuana when I was in San Diego. You take a little train to Tijuana, then you walk across, to the border, and then you walk across the border. You could cover that fight if it was in Tijuana.
I'm good.
How far away is Tijuana? 2 hours?
I'm good. I get stopped enough by customs, man. Like, I'm good.
How far is Hermosillo?
Dude, customs look at me and they think a certain thing every time. I swear. Every time I drive south of San Diego, I get worried.
What, moody asshole?
Customs looks at you?
Not customs, sorry. Border protections. Sorry. Not customs. Right, I said customs.
They built the wall yet? Is the wall there?
No, the wall's not there yet, but
okay.
It's a fence.
Oh.
It's okay, though. I've seen Matt climb. He's a very good climber.
You have not seen me climb. I'm not a good climber at all. I'm actually really scared of heights.
Oh, Matt would be a hilarious climber.
No, I'm actually really bad at climbing. No.
Yeah, no, that would be funny. How far is Hermosillo? Or whatever it is. How far is that?
It's about the same.
Geography lesson.
You should apply for that one.
No, I'm good.
Estrada.
No, I'm good.
John O'Carroll.
Oh, no, that one's farther. No, sorry, that one's farther.
Is it farther or further?
No. Further? I don't know.
Farther?
Farther is for distance. Further is for other stuff.
For time?
Father's your dad.
Like further would be time?
Yes.
So when you say other stuff, you just meant time. Like what other stuff is there?
I don't know.
Space and time, right? Like those are the two things.
Further's not a reference to distance. Farther is.
Yeah, fuck you, Rob.
Father's your dad.
It's like less and fewer. I'll never get it right. Like when do you use the word less? Like 15 items or less is grammatically wrong. It's actually 15 items or fewer, but I have no idea why.
Minutes of Gary's call. I wish they were fewer.
Yeah, he's on something today. This
I
is
love
great.
these calls. These are going
I
great.
love it. He came at me like hardcore about
Yeah, food. So you're
wouldn't
happy for them to
take my
go?
wife.
My wife.
You wouldn't take your wife, but you want others to take theirs. No,
Would you let Rob take his?
You missed the start of the show. Cool.
By the way, we're trying to send Rob to Saudi Arabia, guys. So
I'm down. I'm
super
good.
chats. Let's go.
Yeah, James Burrell. I mean, whoever it was, Jordan Baker, further father, whichever it was. Thanks for the
Gary.
money
I blame
to get me to the promised
Rob
land.
for creating this language that nobody understands and you can never ever get right. I personally blame Rob because he's from England.
Yeah, but none of you speak it anyway. It doesn't matter.
You can never get it right. Like, I have no idea. Like, my mom was born in Italy, came here. I have no idea how you learn to speak this language if you didn't grow up with it. I can't even speak it right. And I grew up on it. Like, I don't know how anyone, like, even no one on this panel speaks another language, right?
Parlez-vous français?
Like, do you really?
Matt knows like 5 French words, and he's like saying it.
I said all of them in a row
I
right
just
there.
exhausted everything I've got.
No, I know if you want to ask me how my day is in French, I can respond if I'm having kind of like a crappy day.
Meta est in tablino laborat.
I don't know what he said there, but sure.
That was Latin.
Oui.
Mother is at the kitchen table. Kind of a sexist Latin term that I remembered.
No, but like, if you like, I can speak Italian like a second grader, right? But you look at it and it's like easy, like it makes sense. I don't understand how anyone speaks another language and then comes here and learns how to speak English conversationally. The language makes no sense. It's like an impossible language to learn. I have no idea why people invented it.
What are we talking about, Gary? Like, what are you fucking talking about?
He's talking about why do people go to America to learn English?
Yeah.
It's a very good point.
Come here if you spoke another language. Like, let's say you spoke Norwegian.
We had a lot of Korean foreign exchange students at my high school, and I was friends with a lot of them. And so a bunch of them would like learn English like through through the 4 years they were there, right? And it would be a process, but they would catch on pretty quick, to be honest. Like social cues are pretty obvious when you start hearing words.
I guess. Like, it's just like learning any other language seems so easy and it makes sense. And English just seems to like, again, I've spoken it for 36 years. I still don't know how to speak it properly. I digress, as Matt would say.
Yep.
Gary, who do you think is having the worst year as a promoter?
I like this question. Yes. And throw PBC in the group.
Well, you can't say Alec because he's got Ruiz. As long as Ruiz wins again, he had a good year because you got Andy Ruiz, but everyone else won.
Everyone else lost? What are you talking about?
Charlo.
Won. Charlo lost.
Not in Gary's eyes.
No.
Not really.
Charlo lost and Charlo won.
I guess his loss was last year. You're right. I guess the Harrison loss was in 2018.
It was, and on top of that, Gary, I will add, numbers wise, they've been quite successful this year. Pacquiao's been successful. Spence has been successful.
But I guess I just look at all of them, and it's like they've all had a bad year, right? But I mean, Matchroom puts on so many cards, but like you got the incidents with Big Baby, and then you had Jarrell Miller, and then you had AJ lost, and then Hooker lost. Like, that's not a good year for Eddie. But then, like, I don't know. Top rank
Isn't it about the event? Isn't it about the event that the promoter puts on?
Or doesn't put on?
What didn't he put on? What didn't he put on?
AJ Miller. Not through any fault of his own. Like, sometimes like things happen and it's not like a promoter's fault. But it does impact the promoter being successful or not.
Eddie couldn't get the Wilder fight to happen. failure.
Oh, the toughest year for a promoter is
BBC can't
Oscar.
even get the fucking
Wow.
Ortiz fight made.
Anyways, Oscar, yes. Gary, what were you saying?
Oscar's had the toughest year because he doesn't even know what's going on.
He's
He
not
has
even
no clue.
around.
He's not around. He's about to lose Ryan. He might lose Canelo, and he has no idea that Virgil Ortiz is really good. So, Oscar had the roughest year.
Isn't it fair to say that American boxing is failing right now because the two biggest stars in America is a 40-year-old Filipino and a 29-year-old ginger Mexican?
I don't understand how that's a
think
big deal.
I think that's a logical fallacy called begging the question because you've assumed your outcome in American boxing is failing, and that's just not true. So that's like saying, why did you kick my dog? I didn't kick your dog, so I can't answer your question, right? Like, the American boxing isn't failing.
But where's the American stars? Where's the American boxers that are smashing
You're talking about people that are born. Well, define American. People that are born in the U.S., people that are white, people that are what? Like what? Like let's define that then, please, because like Earl Spence is born American, lived in America his whole life. He's been quite successful this year. Pacquiao has been a American market. Hold on. Pacquiao's been an American market fighter for God knows what, 20 years, Gary, 15 years. Okay, and he is still largely successful. Who else? Wilder has had a good year. He's American.
One fight.
Yeah, but he had a good. It was. Look at the numbers it produced. That was obviously successful. Look at the knockout. It's still arguably knockout of the year.
I don't know why you brought up. Do they have to be white or what?
I'm just bringing up things. I'm not implying that you said that, but I know other people think that. Cause look at Andy Ruiz.
If he's white, like Joe Kawasaki was white, was he an American star? You know, I didn't understand that. Ricky Hatton, was he an American star? You know, like they're white. I didn't understand the white thing either. I can't even think of one white American star unless you count Toro Gatti as American, which he really wasn't.
But I just said someone from America.
But there's plenty of people from America that are being successful, that have had successful years.
There's no stars though, is there? There's no American superstars. I don't think in boxing.
The UK has one. The UK has one superstar. America has two. America has two. They just don't happen. Hold on. America has two stars. They just don't happen to be, quote, from America.
Aboutism. You can't.
What do you mean? It's not whataboutism. What do you mean? It's not whataboutism. What are you talking about?
No, but you're like, yeah, but what about the UK?
I didn't say that.
You did. You've got one. You've got one star.
Well, your thing is America does not have a star from the U.S. We have two stars that aren't, quote, from the U.S., but they are in the U.S. and they are superstars. And the UK has one guy that's a superstar from the UK. That seems pretty negligible, right? Like, really? Like, you're really going to say that, oh, America has no one? Okay, sure.
No, American-born.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Earl Spence and Mikey Garcia just did 50,000. They sold 50,000 tickets and did almost 400,000 pay-per-view buys.
God bless.
Yeah,
God bless those Mexican fan base.
But they're
Mexican-American fan. I mean, I'm sure he's got a Mexican fan base too, but
Rob, this is a real like nationalistic argument you're making. It's weird, man. It's really weird.
Way more. You're making it way more than it ever was.
Look, I know you don't mean it that way, but there are plenty of people that listen to this show that are racist bigots that hear what you are saying right now and will think what you are saying is bigoted, is whistleblowing. I'm just saying.
They're in the background going, one of us.
They're in the background going, one of us, one of us. They are.
Well, then your crazy country is not even in my fucking...
And AOBZ say Matt can't answer a bloody question. I answered all the questions. What question did I not answer?
I I'm sorry if I've opened a can of worms. I just generally was having a laugh, and it turned into some fucking racial debate. I don't even know what's going on.
You
anymore.
can absolutely have a laugh.
You
Dude,
can
Jordan
have
is
a laugh,
crushing it
but
with these super
but
chats.
you do know, Rob, like we do have people that listen to things that aren't you. They'll pick up on things you say and take it a very wrong way. Same with me. Same with Fu. We had somebody think Fu was an InfoWars guy, for God's sake, off of something he said in the
and
show.
a terrorist.
It does look like one, though.
With the hat and the beer combo, it does look really suspect. And he's from Texas. Like,
yeah, he's even got the Texas on his shirt. Like.
Automatic suspect. But
I get
but
so much shit when I
like
go
it's
through
the whole
security.
Andy Ruiz argument, right? Like we had to hear so many racist fucking bigots come out and go like debate whether Andy Ruiz is Mexican or not, right?
But isn't my point even valid? Whether it's a sporting thing or whether people want to take it as some kind of bigoted thing, isn't?
But
is there a full-on, genuine, bona fide American boxing superstar
that's from America, born in America,
born and raised in America?
No,
right.
Earl Spence is the closest, and he's a star, but not a superstar. But we have Canelo and Pacquiao that have been in the U.S. market for their entire careers almost. So like
Mayweather. What are we talking about?
So to me, like that point doesn't matter, Rob. Like your question on its surface is irrelevant because in the U.S., predominantly speaking, most of our stars have been the other or treated as the other, whether they are American or not. So I just
also have Mayweather. How are we like?
He's not active right now.
But I understand. But
even though he's fighting Pacquiao in May.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe no current.
You can say that live on air, but I can't. Fuck it.
What? What did he say live on air? That's
Mayweather Pacquiao fighting in May. I don't want to hear it.
What? Oh, you. Okay, I didn't get the joke.
Look, you're all worried. Like I'm gonna.
No, I'm like, no. I thought you were talking about Fu. I didn't think you were talking to me.
Oh, no, you. Yeah, you.
Hey, no.
He's all right. He's Mr. InfoWars.
But again, I think like that
black helicopter.
That point is like the great white hype question. Like who's the American guy that's the star? It doesn't matter. We have.
I said American. I didn't mean.
I know. You didn't. I've said that numerous times.
Well,
I know
the people that are gonna go one of us, one of us.
I know.
I am not one of you.
Okay, I know that. I'm joining them, and I know that, Rob. So know that.
You kind of came at me like I was.
No, but I'm going at people that
Wilder's
listen to you
superstar?
at times.
Huh?
Well, I wouldn't say Wilder's a superstar.
Wilder kind of getting there though.
Again, look, I'm not saying there's absolutely no.
I'm legitimately asking.
But I think Wilder's getting there. I think a win over Fury. I don't think the Ortiz fight is particularly going to do too much for him. Maybe if it's like some brutal knockout like the Brazil thing, maybe. But I think the winner to turn around the perception of the Fury fight will be big for him. But yeah, but I think there's definite potential, but I just don't think boxing is a big enough sport in America. That's personally my thing. To make a genuine known in every home in America, it's not going to be a boxer, in my opinion.
Well, first off, Genuine would definitely disagree with you. First off, shout out to Genuine, the greatest R&B singer of all time. Secondly, hold on, Pony still slaps to this day, Rob. Don't dare roll your eyes.
Yeah.
Secondly, okay.
There are certain songs like Pony where they can play it today at the club or bar and everyone still dances.
Absolutely, that's factual.
Right about that.
That's just true. That's in the Webster's dictionary.
It's like Agadoo.
But Rob, I forget what you said because I started making a joke. But anyways, Oh no! Actually, to Fu's point about whether Wilder's a star. Look, Wilder's a weird case because like I know people that don't follow boxing that know Wilder. Like Wilder is one of those guys that does transcend the bubble in the U.S. market in a way. And to your point, Rob, about the U.S. market not allowing a true like homegrown boxing star to rise is just categorically false. We had one that just retired 2 years ago in Mayweather, and on top of that, they're not U.S. names, but they're guys that fight in the U.S. Conor McGregor and Khabib have turned into U.S. stars fighting in the U.S. So it does happen. If you are, it doesn't happen for everyone, but to the very few, the very 0.001% of combat sports, you can become a superstar in America. But it's very clear. It's like the rule of two in Star Wars. There's only two allowed at a time. Like you get Mayweather Pacquiao, and that's it. Now we got Pacquiao Canelo. That's it. You know, like it's the rule of two. Like it's very hard to have a wide range of superstars in boxing because of the market, but it does allow for it. There are people that do rise up and become superstars. Just a very limited amount.
And it's Tyson Fury. If boxing is dead in America, then why did Tyson Fury, your country's second biggest star, decide to fight exclusively in America?
Because he got an alleged $100 million contract to do so.
But I thought boxing. Wait, so which one is it? Is he making $100 million, or is the sport dead?
But I thought ESPN was like owned by Disney. They've got money to burn.
Everyone's owned by Disney.
Yeah.
They're going to burn $100 million on a dead sport? That would be a really bad investment, wouldn't it?
Well, is it not proven to be so far?
Yeah, but let's be honest. If Fury was fighting good competition, it wouldn't be, Rob. You know that. Like, Fury's competition level.
Yeah.
That I think is purely.
That's not my fault or Fury's fault.
I didn't say it was your fault. I think.
No,
It is Fury's fault. It 100% is Fury's fault, his competition level. What are you talking about?
Okay.
You think Fury doesn't want to fight Tom Schwartz and Otto Whalen, or you think he does want to fight those guys?
I think he's happy to take those while the money's there. That's my point. That's why he's gone over there.
Yeah.
I think Fury wants to fight this level of competition. And I think it's pretty clear.
He doesn't want to fight Wilder.
He doesn't want to fight Wilder until he wants to. And in the meantime, he's going to fight Otto Whalen and Tom Schwartz.
Because of the huge contract that he's been offered.
Yeah, and so he's fighting shitty competition. So I do blame Fury. Absolutely. What do you mean we can't blame Fury? He is solely the person we can blame, other than maybe Bob Arum.
Oh, the solely other than.
Yes. I said solely, or maybe Bob Arum.
I think there's truth to like what both of you are saying. I think Fury wants to fight Wilder, but in the interim, if you're going to give me how many millions to fight Tom Schwartz and Otto Whalen, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. Like, I mean, you'd be nuts not to. I mean, these aren't even real fights. These are ridiculous, like, sideshows. Otto Whalen, this is who he's fighting? You know, like, and how much money is he making for that? You'd be nuts.
Isn't he like the number one heavyweight in Switzerland or something?
No, he's not even the number one in Sweden. And he's number two.
Sweden.
He's number two.
Number two in Sweden.
Highest ranked former IKEA worker in boxing.
Is that really all Sweden's known for is IKEA? That's sad.
Meatballs.
Sweden's got to have other stuff, right?
Sorry, what did you say?
The Saab. Yeah, Saab.
Saab, yeah. We got Saab.
I don't know what you're saying here.
The motor vehicle, the car, Saab.
I don't even know if they're still around, but they made really nice.
Yeah, they're here.
In the 90s.
I've never seen a Saab in my life.
SAAB.
I always feel so old when I talk to Matt. Like, I feel so old.
Was that like the 90s Fiat? Was that like the 90s Fiat?
No, it was a luxury car. It was probably a notch below a BMW. It was not a Lexus. It was like that level. It was really
okay. Okay. Yeah, I've never seen a Saab in my life.
Why do you gotta make us feel old?
Sorry.
Well,
Volvo. Jonathan saying that Volvo is from Sweden. I know Volvo. There we go.
True. Yeah.
Volvo's from Sweden too, yeah.
AstraZeneca. I have no idea what that is. Do you know what that is, guys? AstraZeneca?
Oh, I need to
see
it.
Isn't Selena Brackus from Cecilia Brackus from?
No, she's Norwegian, I believe, right?
Norwegian. What's the difference? The same country.
Hey. There's a difference, damn it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
I have no idea what it is, but there's a difference.
The governments are different.
Yeah, that takes me. I wanted to talk about Usyk, right? Which has nothing to do with Sweden, but Takam's a good challenge, right? It's a good first fight at heavyweight, but I mean, I'd rather see him fight someone like AJ, beat up on AJ, and then challenge the top guys in the division. You know what I'm saying? It's just Takam is fine, but if you beat Takam, what does that mean? Like, it doesn't mean you're ready for the best guys in the weight class. It just means you beat Takam. So let him beat up on AJ. Once he disposes of AJ, then he's ready for the top guys.
I see what you did there, Gary. That was good.
I can't see Rob's reaction. Is Rob taking me seriously?
He rolled his eyes and just kind of like had a heavy sigh.
I didn't even hear it. What did he say? I was reading the chat.
He said that Usyk should fight Anthony Joshua as his tune-up showcase and then go fight top-level guys at heavyweight.
Well, if Joshua beats Ruiz, that will be his next fight.
And if I ride my unicorn to the moon, right?
So wait, hold on. Are you firmly of the mindset that Andy Ruiz is winning the rematch?
You cannot land a unicorn on cheese.
This joke got off the rails so much with Gary. Oh my god! I apologize to our listeners. I don't know what this show is today.
It's banter.
It is boxing banter. Gary, I didn't know you said.
On the Andy Ruiz, I think Ruiz is going to win the rematch.
No, he's not.
No, but like 100%, Joshua has 0 chance. That so much so that you're going to ride your fucking unicorn to the moon.
I can't. I mean, look,
the bookies say different.
He's got good power, so he could knock him out, right? Like he hurt him bad in the first fight. I'm pretty confident Ruiz is gonna beat him. What's the old saying? If you knock him out the first time, you'll knock him out the second time, only quicker. I think Ruiz knocks him out again.
All right, you better back that plus money, Gary. Back that plus money.
I would make we're talking about the shave your head fight, shave your head bet. I would do that, but I don't know how you would lose that one. Right?
He has some hairs out there. He has some hair.
You got like 3 hairs. Yeah,
it's not a lot.
Yeah. I'll slowly fuck my Homer Simpson head.
You could definitely shave the sides down, and then you could just be bald. He has like remember Jason Statham in like 99, 98? I mean, he still tried to have hair. That's like Rob, but like mid 50-year-old Rob, like or Jason Statham. Like that's what that looks like right now.
Just a little more ripped.
If we could figure, if you want to make a wager on this, we can figure something out as we get closer to the fight. Because I'm pretty confident that Ruiz is going to win the rematch by knockout.
So Gary, do you think that Joshua is just damaged goods at this point? Like he's not even a good win for someone?
Of course, he's a good win. Like he's still a top 5 heavy. He's still a top 4 heavyweight, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. But he's still a good heavy. Well, now if you count Usyk,
did you count on your fingers?
Yeah, he's still.
Whatever you are.
I did.
I did.
1, 2, 3, 4.
No, he's good, and he'll always be a threat. He's good. He's big. He's strong. He's powerful. He's got skill. There's too many holes. He couldn't handle the speed of Ruiz. I don't know what is he going to do differently in the second fight than he did in the first fight. Well, like, I think Ortiz is good, but Ortiz can't do anything differently in the second fight to beat Wilder. He's just going to lose again the same way he lost the first time. What is Joshua going to do differently?
Tune in live on Sky Sports and probably the Zone, live from Saudi Arabia.
Okay, if you can tell me what he's gonna change this, and this is what he's gonna do differently, and that's how he's gonna beat Ruiz. I'm all ears. I just don't know what that is. I don't know what adjustments he can make.
Just keep him on the end of a jab. I don't know. We'll see.
I think you'll see him fight Ruiz exactly like he fought Joseph Parker. Yeah, he'll just fight him for 12 rounds and win a decision.
We're getting the same referee to referee it.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Then I don't
get
think
too close. Break.
Ruiz getting on the inside. I think Ruiz is too quick and will be able to get on the inside. If he wants to just stand there and box him from the outside, Ruiz gets to the inside, beats him up, and knocks him out. I don't know how he can win the fight. He can land something big. He's got the power to do it. He can hurt him and change the fight in one punch.
He's a heavyweight, remember, Gary? But one punch.
They all have one punch power.
Right. No, I said he could. He could knock him out. He almost knocked him out in the first fight. It hurt him real bad in the first. In what was the third round?
Second.
Hurt him real bad. Second round?
Was it the second? I think it was the second.
Whatever. It was scary from that point on. I think it was the third. I think Gary was right.
Because it happened within the same round that he got knocked down in, right?
Yeah.
It was the third then. You're right, Gary. My bad.
Back to Ruiz, though. Like, they're putting the fight in Chicago. And I love Chicago. This is not a knock on Chicago. Chicago is one of the great cities of the world. It's really one of the best sports cities. If you're talking about the major sports, baseball, basketball, and football. It's not a fight town. So why do they keep doing this? Like, it's like Miami. Miami's a great town. It's got a Cuban population, a Puerto Rican population. So they put fights there thinking it's going to do well. It doesn't. Fights don't draw in Chicago. It's not a fight town. That fight's going to do miserable there. Like, it's going to be embarrassing. First of all, Usyk has no appeal to casual fans. They don't even know who he is. He's not going to get a spectacular knockout, which is what you want in heavyweight boxing. Why would they put that in Chicago?
I don't know. I think Chicago is a big market, even though it may not be a big boxing market. It's a huge market. It's a huge Eastern European market as well. You know, if they're looking at just base numbers, it makes sense.
It has a huge Polish population.
Yeah, also,
I don't know that it has a big.
I didn't say Ukrainian. I said Eastern European population. So thank you for agreeing with me. Secondly,
no, I'm agreeing with them, but that's not Ukrainian, right?
That's great. That's awesome. Again, I said Eastern European population.
Okay.
Yeah, and this isn't a Ukrainian versus Polish fight, so I don't think like the Poles are going to be out there not supporting Usyk. I think they're going to support Usyk because he's Eastern European and he's fighting a Frenchman. So yeah.
Plus, they have great hot dogs and pizza, so I think that's why Eddie wanted to go.
And
there.
I don't know what venue it's at, but that does change my opinion about it. If it's in a 20,000 plus seater, then you're more right, Gary. But if it's in a small venue, then you're not. Then you're not right. Then I think they probably figured out the economics of the event and planned for it.
Yeah, Chicago has 46,000 Ukrainians. Sell out.
Ukrainians in Chicago.
That's a lot of Ukrainians, actually. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I guess they did the demographics on it and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I just.
This isn't.
Chicago's a great
This
city.
isn't Jesse Vargas, Thomas Delorme level of bad in Chicago.
Which made no sense. Like, they were going to put the Frampton fight in Philadelphia, which I didn't understand either. I don't understand, like, who...
Irish community.
Nah, if you're in Frampton, you got to be in Boston. Like Boston's if you're going to go to the East Coast and go to an Irish market, Boston.
Yeah, Boston.
Yeah, Boston, New York, Philly. That's the three. You just don't want to go anywhere with concrete pillars from now on. So, damn.
That's all I got. I think I'm done. Yeah, I'm done.
Thank you for the call, Gary. Guys, that's going to be it for today.
Cool. UK Rob, MCR, Instagram and Twitter. Thanks for being here, everybody. Thanks for that generous super chat. The rest of you.
Multiple. Jordan gave a lot of super chat.
Yeah, he did. Thank you, Jordan. Really,
he
thank
did?
you. Yeah, he gave a bunch. A bunch of them were snarky comments at you and me.
Right, as long as he's paying. I'm good. What else gets under his skin? Let's keep this going for a little bit. But yeah, thanks. I'll catch you on the next one, guys.
Phil?
Fugati MCR on all platforms. Thanks for being here, guys. And yeah.
Obviously, find me, Matt Hunter, MCR, all platforms. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe. Patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio. We just released a ton of Patreon shows on our podcast feed only. So you want to go check that out. Definitely recommend it. You want to hear me and Rob going a little more in depth on the Regis Prograis lawsuit. Check out our last show that we did on Patreon, which is now on free on our podcast feed on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, everywhere you find our podcast. It is there, so go check it out. Rob, you have something briefly to say?
Yeah, I was going to say, don't be surprised if we're back sometime soon with possibly Prograis being linked with a 8-figure top rank offer, maybe.
That'd be cool.
Just seeing a little bit of rumor on it, but did we hear if they've had their chat today, whether they've got any closer to making it.
Nah, I wanted to hear something from that before we talked about it, but no, we haven't heard anything from it yet.
Sources will say later, I'm sure.
And I will say this, guys. Remember, I should say remember. I don't know if I told everyone. I am going to be kind of busy this week. I'll be credentialed for UFC 241 in Anaheim. So Dana Cormier versus Stipe Miocic. Nate Diaz versus Anthony Showtime.
The return of the king.
Guys, I'm so happy. And Paulo Bohachina Costa versus Yoel Romero. Battle the PDs. Yes. Give me that.
You can speak another language.
Shut up. But anyways.
That's the best Matt's ever said a name.
Didn't Tony Ferguson
Bohachina?
Didn't Tony Ferguson cause a little bit of a... Didn't they send that? He's like coming back or something?
Yeah, but Tony Ferguson just tweets things, man.
All right. I just saw that.
Tony
dude, you done the eye thing, like, oh, look at this. So I thought it must mean something.
I think I did that to something else. I apologize if you got confused with what you thought that was. Tony Ferguson's like Paulie or like...
oh, never mind. Catch you on the next one.
Anyways, guys, have a good one. Peace.
Peace.